Look what we got for 35 trillion. Racism, less money, high inflation, and protesting. What a wonderful thing. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, May the 19th. And, well, markets continue to kind of work their way higher, which we'll get to in our market report. But, of course, look at what we got for 35 trillion besides the racism, the paid protesters, the hatred of the Jews, hatred of Israel, among many other things. And, of course, I know you're going to say President Biden has done such a wonderful job and Bidenomics is working well. If you like high inflation, if you like making less money, if you like not working, maybe you'll be unemployed soon, then yes, he has done a wonderful job. And certainly, we certainly should put him in for a second term, because by the end of the second term, he could destroy the entire country and we could just be China, because we are headed in that direction as China has accumulated so much farmland in this country, which means they're going to control the food supply of the world pretty soon. Let's just let them continue to go as our president turns his back and allows these things to happen. Maybe he should bend over and stick his head between his legs, and you know the story. It's amazing that we're coming into another election season, and there's already trials on absentee voting, which is a crock when you look at it. But fortunately, in Wisconsin, they voted down the requirements. They are going to force to have stronger requirements for absentee voting. And thank God somebody's got some brains to decide that the last election was stolen, whether or not whoever won. And again, I'm not going to get into that can of worms, but there was some funny business. But certainly the system itself is broken down. The voting system itself is broken down. The way we track, and I can say this with 100% certainty because I was able to vote without showing an ID, okay, in a new state that I was a citizen of then, but a resident of, but now, again, that's not right, okay? And of course, the trial of President Trump continues, and things continue to get thrown out, and his attorney that was supposed to be the key witness for the prosecution was made shit out of because he was lying through his teeth, and he got dog walked, as they say. And of course, CNN is aghast at what's going on because, listen, they are, certainly our press corps in this country are unfortunately. They don't report the news, they report their opinion. And again, that doesn't matter whichever side you're on. This is not the way it is supposed to be done. Housing starts rise. Okay. Look, at the end of the day, you still have a mass exodus out of many states, and you do see some housing rising, but it looks to me that the housing market is about ready to collapse. You can see by the deals they're making, and look at the cost of copper all of a sudden. A lot of things going on that don't bode well. And of course, we continue to get reassured by our government how good the economy is. But if you think about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which has about a 17-day supply of oil, that is our wartime oil. And certainly with China moving closer, we're getting closer to war. And we had the inflation numbers last week, and why would we think that they're any good? The producer price index was higher than expected, which is the cost of the production end. The CPI, which is the consumer, came down a little bit, but think about why it came down. It came down because they got lucky that crude oil is under a dramatic amount of pressure, which tells you how weak the economy is and how close we are to stagflation, okay? Now, again, if you go back into the late 60s, Vietnam, and through the 70s, Lyndon Johnson started the bullshit with his ridiculous spending, followed by Richard Nixon and his ridiculous canceling of the Bretton Woods Act and taking us off the gold standard. And then, of course, culminated with Jimmy Carter. And again, Jimmy Carter is not to blame for the problems that were dealt to him by the time it got there. Okay, we only think of Carter, but it was a long coming before, and you cannot continue to throw away money and continue to create money, destroying your middle class as we continue to do. And of course, retail sales, not good. So is the consumer about ready to throw in the towel? Well, if you listen to your president, he says that the grocery stores are charging high prices and are making excessive profits. Well, I don't know if you understand, Mr. President, how economics work, but when the cost of goods and services go up, the companies have to raise their prices to keep up so they can make their payroll. And since we've seen nothing but payroll cuts, okay, with all your bullshit numbers that you tell us how good the jobs are, well, the jobs are 50% government and they're revised lower every single month. So let's not hear about the nonsense and that grocery stores are taking excessive profits. How about the government and their excessive taxes? How about you wanting to create this capital gains tax and also start to tax on unrealized gains? So let's not talk about the excessive profits of grocery stores, which in history have not worked on excessive profits. And of course, Jerome Powell says everything's under control. Well, is it really? Then if everything was under control, you probably wouldn't see gold at record highs, silver making highs since 2013, the stock market making highs, the NASDAQ exploding higher, and everything else. So that does also tell you that there is a problem. And there's always the big question, is China dumping U.S. treasuries and buying gold? Well, first of all, China can't really dump U.S. treasuries because if they get too aggressive with dumping, the United States could devalue. Okay. But are they buying gold? They've been buying gold all along. So this is not new. I mean, China has been accumulating and hoarding copper and gold. So I don't know what the sudden surprise is that we're seeing it now as a story. And maybe that is giving us an indication that maybe we're near the top of the metals for now, okay, or the top of the equities for now. Again, I can't make that prediction. I mean, we'll get to it in our market report, but what do we know for sure? We know that we have a ridiculous debt problem from government on down. We know that our leadership is ridiculous and horrible and stupid, okay? We know that we continue to allow this ridiculous protesting to go on throughout the country. Okay, let alone now you have Harrison Butker, the kicker, who gave a speech at Benedictine College, and they don't like it, so now they're all up in arms about what he said. But of course, you heard nothing out of the administration when they were kneeling for the national anthem. Think about it. To me, the country is in horrible shape. There is way too much hatred here. But we'll get more into that in our commentary. This is Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, May the 19th, and we will be right back after our break with our market report. What's up, kids? Well, what's going on? Of course, and you know I have sponsors that do sponsor the show, and I always want to share them with you because, again, I think they are good at what they do. I think that they are great potential brokerage partners for you. And I have many brokers, so again, this is not, and whether you go to them or not, I don't really care. I'm giving you who I use as my main sources and why I use them, because they save me money and they give me the best service. But check them out. TRADIER brokerage. I mean, look, it's $10 a month flat. All of our products are automated through TRADIER. I don't know why you wouldn't want to use them at $10 a month flat when you would rather pay somebody else more. That's up to you. But their information is on the side scrolling. And of course, Capital Trading Group, who is our partner in many of our letter of direction programs. And of course, they're a commodities and futures broker. Check them out, info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. And of course, Wall Charts. And of course, our high school program. I mean, again, you want to help us out? Great. And you want to help yourself out? Check out these sources because they're great for you, which is why I recommend them to you. In the meantime, everything's either scrolling on the sides or on the bottom. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and our market report. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, May the 19th. And of course, markets, listen, they continue to go higher. It wasn't like it was a mass explosion last week, but they continue to go higher. And this is one of the things you have to learn. Okay. Why fight the market? Why think that you know more than the market when the trend is the trend? Okay. We continue to climb higher. The Dow, the S&P, the Russell, and the Nasdaq all higher last week. We were long most of the week. You know, we go flat back and forth, but basically we're net long most of the week. And again, I don't see any reason to fight it. I think we're going way down at some point, but why should I want to be first when I have plenty of time to act later? In the meantime, in the stuff that we do trade or don't trade, but we watch for you, the dollar index was lower. We would be short if we traded it, but we no longer trade it, and it's not for any other reason other than the fact that it's because of the exchange there that charges too much for us to want to trade it. The euro currency, we are long, which is kind of moving higher, which, at the end of the day, I think the euro currency is going to 88 cents. I haven't changed. We had one dip down, but in the meantime, right now we're long. Notes and bonds, we're kind of a mixed week, working over higher, but again, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Now we're long, okay, but it doesn't make a lot of sense because, of course, I believe interest rates are going higher. I don't think that this is a final score, and I don't believe there's going to be a rate cut. I believe there's going to be a rate hike because of inflation, because of what's going on. They cannot slow by cutting, okay, and we're in very dire conditions. Bitcoin, we are going to reverse to long tonight or tomorrow. That'll be up to your decision if you remember. But we are going to reverse to long, and in the metals, we are long gold, we are long silver, we would be long platinum if we still traded it, but it is not liquid enough. We are long copper, which is unbelievably up to $5.05. It's amazing. Okay, I find it really amazing. But in the meantime, it is what it is. In the grain markets, I think the grains have had some pretty good action. We would be long them all. Again, and that would be corn, wheat, and soybeans. We no longer actually trade the meats officially, but I have been short cattle and been wrong. And of course, I've been long hogs and now appearing to be wrong there as well. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Again, the economy is weak, and you've seen the switch from those who go to the higher end of restaurants now are going to the next step down, and you've seen that in the retail sales in Walmart and their earnings. So we'll see what happens there. In the meantime, excuse me, natural gas we're long and it's higher. Crude oil has been going down and we're short and it's lower. In the softs, cocoa we're short, cotton we're short, sugar we're short, OJ we're long, and coffee we're short. Again, these are all the trends of what they are now. I do think commodities are probably the space to be. I think they'll probably have a chance to make a move higher. I think that overall the economy is in trouble. I think we're, as I said, in danger of stagflation. I think that there's a lot of issues out there, but at the end of the day, you cannot fight the market. The market is what the market is. You trade it as it trades, and you look for your opportunities. There's no reason to be first, and so make sure that you don't put yourself in jeopardy, because at the end of the day, the markets will be right, and no matter what you think, no matter what you read, no matter what I say of my opinion, it doesn't really matter. It's really what the markets are telling you. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Top Bubba Horowitz. We're going to step out here for a break and be back with my commentary right after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line, Sunday, May the 19th. And of course, kids, welcome here. I want to just remind you of our sponsors. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel, but Capital Trading Group, Trader Brokerage, Wealth Charts, check them out on the sides. They're all beneficial to you to check them out. And of course, our high school program on the bottom, and we're putting that back in play. So check us out. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horowitz, and my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horowitz. It is Sunday, May the 19th, and I don't know, what a week. I'm so sick and tired of the news cycle. I'm so sick and tired of the criticism to Harrison Butker from the Kansas City Chiefs, who gave a speech at a college graduate in Benedictine University, which is obviously a religious university, and he spoke his mind, and the left didn't like it. Again, I'm not saying who you should agree with or what side of the aisle you should be on here, but what happened to freedom of speech in this country? That's what I'd really like to know about. Why are we continuing to prevent freedom when nobody said anything about Colin Kaepernick and kneeling for the national anthem? Nobody said anything about the protesting, the hatred of Israel, the hatred of America. I mean, they're supporting those who say death to America every day. Okay. So we're supporting the terrorists. We're not supporting Israel, our number one ally, who during 9/11 was our only ally in the Middle East. So what is going on in this country? Why are we allowing, and why are we as Americans allowing so much hatred and so much destruction of what's going on, and allowing China to come in here and take over, and allowing this ridiculous protesting at these universities that are supposed to be levels of education, not protesting against your allies? Again, I think that we are falling apart. I think we're breaking from the inside out. And of course, it has all to do with this horrible political system, with your leadership that is in charge. Again, the whole system is breaking down, but certainly the leadership we have now is a bigger part of the breakdown as that you could possibly see. And I'm not saying that there's a salvation in the next election, but I'm certainly saying that you better think about it long and hard, because we are inches away from being a communist country instead of a free enterprise country, because we've already lost freedom of speech pretty much and a lot of our ability for capitalism. Keep it in mind when you go to the polls. Not for a while, but start thinking about it, because if you wait, it'll be too late. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, May the 19th. Have a great weekend, everybody. As always, I thank you. We'll see you back here tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update.